Reimagining Success, episode 42. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello, and welcome back to the Reimagining Success podcast. Now, if you have been following along in our series on leaving the corporate 9 to 5 these past few months, and if not, why not? No, of course, completely understand if you've missed that, but perhaps you want to go back and have a listen to those episodes. But if you have been following along, then hopefully you're now convinced, or maybe you are convinced that this is what you want to do. Or perhaps you've decided it's not, and that's fine as well. You may be excited about the freedom, the flexibility, the fulfillment that this is going to allow you to create in your life. And you may even be feeling more confident that, yes, you really can make this work. You may also feel capable of dealing with procrastination and what lies beneath it, as we talked last week, and finally taking action. So let us assume that you're feeling motivated and excited to move ahead. Now what? How are you going to make your corporate escape? First of all, the appeal of just declaring, I quit, yee, and going full steam ahead towards your dreams is really clear. And for some people, it might actually be the right approach. There's really something to be said for going all in, no plan B, burning your bridges. This has to work, and you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. However, the problem with that approach, first of all, is that this option is really only available to you if you have a good amount of savings, if you have no dependents, or else maybe a partner who's able and willing to take on the full financial burden of caring for your family. And ideally, you also need the possibility to cut right back on your spending and live for free, or at least cheaply, with family or friends. And as you may know, this is what I did back in 2013. I was single, I had no mortgage, no children, dogs, nothing to really, nobody who was reliant on me, and certainly nobody I had to sort of report to, as it were. So I was pretty free, and I did also have quite a good amount of savings thanks to my corporate salary, which I hadn't quite, frittered away, thank goodness. But even then, even when you have all those things as I did, the truth is that when the initial euphoria has fizzled out and the immense sense of empowerment and freedom that you get from quitting, when that sense calms down, which it inevitably does, the panic can begin to set in. Because there's no structure to your day, there's no goal to work towards, you're eating through your savings probably because you're not earning any money, and you have to constantly field questions and concerns from friends and family. So as time goes by, you may become more and more anxious about the whole thing and not at all free and fulfilled, which is what you wanted to feel. And you might follow that really scattergun approach with ideas and projects, hoping that something will eventually stick. But in the meantime, you're blindly applying to jobs that you know that you don't really want to do. And that's something I see again and again, people applying to jobs just because they suddenly think, hang on a second, this isn't working, I should go back to a normal job, and so on. So if instead of making that rash decision to pack it all in and take a leap of faith, you decide to take a breath and think this through rationally, then of course the risk is that your fears take hold again and you're going to retreat back into your comfort zone and you keep dreaming of that corporate escape that you're never actually going to make. And again, if I can talk about my own experience back in 2013, this is what I was afraid of. I took a sabbatical initially. I took 3 months off to travel in South America, and halfway through, that was when I handed in my resignation. The reason was that I knew that if I came back to Geneva, to my comfort zone, to my friends, to a really good job, let's face it, it would be very, very difficult and unlikely for me to actually take that step. So I had to take that leap of faith in my case, and maybe that's you as well. However, as unsexy as it sounds, and as much as you maybe don't want to hear this, taking the time to plan your escape is really important. It has taken me many twists and turns to get to where I am now. And if you want to or need to make a faster escape and take a quicker route towards actually earning money, replacing that salary, then please listen carefully and really consider making this kind of plan. Because a plan can provide you with an anchor when you feel yourself flying just a little bit too free. Certainly if you're single and you don't have a home anymore and you don't have a job, as I did as well, you might be a little bit too free. So suddenly that freedom that seems so appealing can be quite overwhelming. A plan also gives you a framework for taking action towards your goals so that you know exactly what you need to do. So when you wake up in the morning, you know, this is the one thing, these are the 3 things I need to do. That's, consistently over time is going to get me to where I want to get to. And it also mitigates both your own fears and those of the people who care about you. We talked a few weeks about how to deal with the objections of the people around you, and that's really important. So if you have a plan, if you can tell your parents, your friends, yes, I know what I'm doing. This is, I'm giving myself a year and this is what I'll be working on and so on. That can be reassuring both to you and to your friends and family. Now, when I say make a plan, I do not mean a 40-slide PowerPoint deck of a detailed business strategy. I also don't mean an endless list of to-dos or a long Excel spreadsheet that you fill with all the things that you think might be important. Because you might not even know that you want to start a business, for example, or what business to start if you are going to start a business. And to be honest, mapping out the details of a theoretical business and creating a comprehensive action plan from just behind your desk in theory on paper is just impossible. So instead, what I'm suggesting you do is map out a framework for what needs to happen in order to make your corporate escape work. So that's going to involve developing an understanding of what it is that you're trying to achieve and why that's so important. So really your definition of success, as I would phrase it. Key action steps that are really easy to follow, but also flexible as you learn more about yourself, and things will inevitably evolve. So it needs to be quite a flexible framework, clear action steps, but also open to changing along the way. And then importantly, a plan is not a plan unless there are deadlines and milestones to make sure that you're actually progressing within your desired timeline. Now, with that in mind, here's what I think you're going to need in your corporate escape plan. You might want to grab a pen and paper, or you can go back and listen to this again, or I will also be letting you know in a moment exactly what you can do to design your corporate escape plan. So these are the elements I think you need. You need, first of all, your definition of success. So if you're not sure exactly why you want to leave, what you want to do instead, then finding that out needs to be part of your plan. So we talked a few weeks ago about exploration, imagination, trying things, learning, thinking about, reflecting about who you are and so on. That's a massive, important action step to take. And that is the first step you should be taking rather than rushing into building businesses and websites and applying to jobs, whatever that might be. So number one, part of your plan should be discovering what your definition of success is. Number two, an understanding of what might get in the way. So we've talked about fears, the fear of failure, the fear of the grass not always being greener, the fear of having to work even harder than you are now or than you have been before, the fear of starting from scratch and so on. Of course, money concerns, also concrete things like skills gaps and a lack of knowledge about how to build your business or market it or get clients or whatever that might be. So you really need to map out those blocks that are getting in the way for you so that you'll be able to address those fears and obstacles up front rather than, just suffer and struggle through when they inevitably surface. Number three, an outline of the steps that you're going to take. So here, as I said, this is not just, get a website, print business cards and so on. This should be including time to explore and imagine what's possible. Evaluate and narrow down your options, because first you want to dream big and then you do eventually need to filter those and narrow down to something that's a bit more feasible. Decide on your business model and strategy if that is what you choose to do, and then implement that strategy to start building your business and realizing that corporate escape. And then finally, number four, a clear deadline to work towards. So having a set time frame is going to give you that sense of urgency that you need. It's going to give you a framework within which you have to do a certain number of things by a certain date, and then a clear point at which you can decide whether you're going to continue or perhaps change your plan. So there might be more questions than answers at this stage, and that is absolutely fine. This is just a plan. It's a framework. Again, it's quite flexible. And your job is going to be to find the answers to those questions in the time that you've given yourself. Now, once you have reached the deadline that you have set, you can look at what you've achieved during that time, and you can make a decision as to whether you're comfortable now with quitting your job, maybe if that was your goal, or going full-time, going all in with your business idea. Whatever it is that you've defined as that decision point, the criteria at which you're going to decide what's going to happen moving forwards. And of course, bearing in mind that you'll never be completely comfortable. So when I say you need to be comfortable, there's still an element of risk, an element of discomfort. You're always going to be outside that comfort zone. Or perhaps if that hasn't worked, you might need to come up with a new plan, or at least evolve the plan and extend your deadline. The goal is really to get to that deadline that you've set and be able to say, look, I've done everything I could to make things work. I've spent the time exploring what I want to do. I've really looked into that. And either you've been successful and you're now moving on to the next stage of establishing that business, growing it, taking it to the next level and so on, or you've quit your job and you're moving into the new career direction, or you can choose with good conscience to abandon your idea because you know that you've given it your best shot and you've explored it and you know, actually, it's not what I want to do. It's not something that does suit me. And then you can, move on to another idea or even go back to what you were doing before, realizing that actually I like this more than I thought I did. So that's absolutely fine too. And that's the magic of this kind of plan. It's not, necessarily having to commit to this and then stick with that no matter what. If you discover this is not for you, then you can absolutely choose to stay where you are or at least go in a different direction. Now, I know you're going to be impatient to get out of your current situation. You want to get unstuck. You want to start creating your definition of success, your alternative future. But the last thing you want to do is to make a really impulsive decision that creates panic and anxiety. And ultimately, let's be real here, is going to lead you back to where you were to begin with. Because again, that panic sets in and you start to apply to those jobs again. Perhaps if you quit your job, you haven't really thought it through, you're not getting the clients, you're not earning the money. And then your worries about money and failure and so on are going to become very, very noisy. And that's all you can hear. And then you get distracted from doing the work you need to do. And it's really a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you really will fail. So after all of this, if you're convinced that yes, a plan is what you need, and if you're ready to take action to design your own personal corporate escape plan, then please join us over in the Facebook group, the One Step Outside Facebook group, because we are going to be helping you do just that. Now, this round, and obviously I'm recording this at a certain time in the year, and if you're listening later on, don't worry, we'll be repeating this, so do still check out the link and you'll find the next date that this is happening. But this round, we're starting on Sunday the 15th of September, and we're going to be meeting together for 5 consecutive evenings. So 8 o'clock UK time, 8 till 9 roughly then, or you can watch the replay, of course, if you're in a different time zone, if you're putting the kids to bed, if it doesn't quite work for you, then you can book that time in your own time zone, your own slot that works, and still keep up with that pace 5 days in a row to really work through the workshops. It's really a fantastic opportunity to make massive progress in a short space of time. So make sure that you register now so we can really make this happen for you. Now, you can grab your spot in this workshop, which of course is free, at onestepoutside.com/escape. That's onestepoutside.com/escape. And so this is really your roadmap to quitting the 9 to 5 and creating that freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that I'm always talking about and that you've been dreaming of. Again, it's running this round from Sunday the 15th September to Thursday the 19th. 8 till 9 British summertime, and you're going to be guided through the key questions you need to be asking yourself, the decisions you need to be making, and those action steps that lie between you and your goal of quitting your job. Now, I should say I'm talking about quitting your job. If you are further along in the process, this may still be for you, because the true escape happens when you've actually replaced your salary, not when you have just decided to quit your job or to set up a business. That's not truly escaping. That's an incredibly brave and big decision in your life, and it's certainly the first and a very important step, but that is not a sustainable business model. That's not going to keep your escape going. All of us could say, hey, I quit today and go off traveling, but then we'll end up in debt. We'll end up, with no career. Our family won't have food on the table and so on. So maybe that's not the most sensible approach. So a true escape happens when we do this within our own personal parameters, criteria. We're earning enough to take care of the people in our lives that we need to take care of, and that we're enjoying the process as well. So again, it's a 5-day workshop. It's an intensive and fun, I promise, series of live sessions where you're going to really benefit from the energy and dynamic of participating alongside all the others in the group who are working on their own escape from the corporate 9 to 5. And again, the live sessions will take place inside the One Step Outside Facebook group. So even if you're not going to be able to attend this round, then please do join the group. There's so much going on there. There'll be other workshops like these. We have a monthly session on other topics. There will be more advanced entrepreneurial business strategy topics as well. So do make sure you're part of the group. Again, you'll find that like-minded community that's going to cheer you on and support you through your efforts to reimagine success. So such a hugely supportive community and a useful resource. So if you sign up again at onestepoutside.com/escape, then when you sign up with your email, that'll give you access to the workbook. You'll first of all get a confirmation email. You get the workbook closer to the time that we're starting, again on the 15th of September. And you're going to be able to follow along with reminders, replays, and other resources to help you create your very own corporate escape plan. You'll also be eligible to win the prizes because, yes, there will be prizes. There'll be homework every day and with some prizes for submitting your work. So please, again, join us to create your corporate escape plan. It's at onestepoutside.com/escape. If you have been following along, again, these past weeks and months, if you're excited about this, if you're at the very beginning of the journey, you just don't know what you want to do, but you know you want to do something else, or if you're further along, but you haven't quite nailed the escape and created that sustainable business, this is for you. Join us over in the One Step Outside Facebook group, and I can't wait to help you create that corporate escape for yourself as well. So thanks so much, and look forward to working with you in the workshop. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Reimagining Success with Anna Lundberg. If you're looking for support and encouragement as you begin to reimagine success in your life, then come on over and join us in the One Step Outside Facebook group. You'll find like-minded people who will cheer you on, as well as free training sessions and lots more. To join, visit onestepoutside.com/community or just search for One Step Outside on Facebook. I'll see you over there.